Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Diego Dorio. And in tonight's game plan, we break down the Game 5 finals victory of Barangay Ginebra over the Meralco Bolts. Is reigning BPC Scottie Thompson the key to Ginebra's success?
Then my partner Diego Dario will present the next part of his thesis defense. This time he answers who can defeat the Ateneo Blue Eagles. And as we're always a fan of the NBA, it's my turn to take some heat as I will be sharing some of my early NBA playoff predictions. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Barangay Ginebra are one win away from the PBA Governor's Cup title after topping the Meralco Bolts in Game 5 of the finals. Barangay Ginebra edges out the Meralco Bolts 115-110, courtesy of a 40-point explosion of Justin Brownlee, 11 rebounds and 5 assists to go with that, and Scottie Thompson's near triple-double. Joining us tonight to break down Ginebra's victory and the series moving forward is six-time PBA champ and basketball analyst Ali Peak. Ali, thanks very much for joining us. We hate you on Zoom. We love you in the studio. Ali, first of all, what a performance so far from Barangay Ginebra. Every time they've won, they shot the lights out. And coming from one of their worst shooting performances to one of their best, what can you say about how Ginebra has gone throughout their victories?
It's just amazing. I think one of the biggest things is that everybody's playing well. Everyone's contributing. You can't say the same thing about Meralco. Meralco's been inconsistent. The only time that the entire team that was out there on the court playing in that rotation was consistent was Game 1, and we haven't seen that since.
Now, Ginebra, they're playing like a well-oiled machine offensively, moving that ball around. But let's talk about the man of the hour in Scottie Thompson. He's been everywhere on the floor, getting rebounds, getting assists, doing everything for Ginebra. How important is he for them to actually get this championship for his team?
I think we're seeing that, and I'm just going to take it a step forward. Not to take anything away from Stanley Pringle, but when Stanley Pringle was on the court, we didn't get a chance to see so much of Scottie Thompson. But now we're seeing what we always known, that he was a great player, or he had the potential of being a superstar. He is a superstar, but now we're starting to see the Scottie Thompson, I guess, of old in his young career. And he's doing everything. He's setting the tone for this team. That monster rebound is what's etched in my mind right now over Tony Bishop. But, this is a guy that has really led this team in so many different categories. But it's just been amazing to see, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
Can I just say that Scottie Thompson is the only player I know who has rebounds in his highlight reel?
Yeah, no, I was gonna. That offensive rebound was a dagger offensive rebound.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
It really sealed the game for Barangay Ginebra. And I think this question is academic, Ali, but is he the front runner in your mind? Is there any other contender for Finals MVP? Should Ginebra win the title?
Outside of Justin Brownlee, I think you're right. Scottie Thompson for sure.
Right.
Absolutely. No question.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the name already in Justin Brownlee. Now let's talk about the imports for both teams.
Yeah.
It's been a tough showdown, tough matchup for both imports. Brownlee scored 40 points as mentioned, but Bishop's also, having a good fit here, good time here with the Meralco Bolts. He had 30 points also. Different player compared to Alan Durham of Meralco before.
And I think that's the thing. You don't feel, yes, he's been playing well, hands down, right? 30-plus points, performances so far. But it's not right off the bat. It took him a couple of quarters to start really pouring things on, and we've seen that throughout this entire series. And the factor, I like to call it.
Yeah.
Yes, he's putting those numbers, but it's not as impactful as a Justin Brownlee. You feel it. When Justin Brownlee goes on a roll, you feel it. We can feel it all the way from where we're sitting, let alone the entire arena. So I'm sure his teammates feel it, and it's just 10 times as much more inspiring. Aside from that, all the things that he's doing out there, especially with this depleted lineup. Of course, Japet is back, 75%. Still a very good. I'd take Japet Aguilar at 75% over many of the big men in the league. But he's done such a great job of leading this team in all aspects. But I think that's the biggest difference, you know.
So when you look at Bishop, of course, we're going to have to talk about the adjustments of this Meralco Bolt team. And he does have to figure in those adjustments because he did not get going early. He did end up with 30 points to your point, but he ended that first half with very, very low scoring, 4 points or 3 points, if I'm not mistaken there. Is that going to be part of the adjustments they have to make, get him going early?
Yeah, but the question is how? You know, one of the biggest things that Morocco's having a problem with right now is trying to penetrate. The only points in the paint that they're really getting outside of that fourth quarter was in the 3 quarters before that was fast break points. You know, and they still haven't been able to figure out the defense, that zone defense. I can't even figure out what they're doing. You probably know more than I do.
I'm not going to say anything.
They just could not. Okay, all right, fine. But they can't seem to penetrate. They just can't seem to do it. But also, I'm going to take it another step forward. This is the difference between a team that's been playing together, that's won championships. The communication factor has been sensational on the defensive end. They're doing a really good job of just being able to cover for one another.
But what do you think? What do you think's missing with Meralco? You know, Tony had 30. I think in that last game, Chris Newsom had 27. Aaron Black with a career high in the finals.
Second career high
in the finals with 25 points. What can we still expect from the Meralco Bolts for them to really step up their game?
I'll just give you one example. I could sit here for an hour, but just that
you have 2 minutes.
I have 2 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. The last 4 minutes of that fourth quarter spelled it all. That effort by Ginebra, Meralco could not get rebounds. That's supposed to be their thing. Ginebra was the one getting those offensive rebounds, and that Scottie Thompson rebound over Tony Bishop broke them. They climbed up that hill, they made it a 1-point game, and all of a sudden, that type of effort, that type of output is what broke them, and to me, that's the difference.
It also came from 2 back-to-back jumpers from Christian Stenhardinger, which I don't think any of us expected for him.
That was a turnaround.
He's been playing far and beyond.
Very well, No, I agree with that. But then Ali, of course, with Meralco now staring at the brink of elimination, is it far-fetched for us to believe that this Meralco team could push it to 7, or would you not be surprised if it is pushed to 7?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised because of Coach Norman's preparation, but I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, that loss to me, I felt it, was demoralizing for them. Some serious soul searching between now and Game 6 for Meralco.
All right, so Ali, because my partner here is actually training with the Meralco Bolts, he'll throw hands with you right after the show. Diego, I don't know if you should stop it, don't. But Ali, thank you very much for being here today.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ali.
Okay, so after the break, my partner Diego Dario will present the next part of his thesis defense as he answers who can defeat the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Sino kaya? Stay tuned. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. The UAAP continues tomorrow, and we miss it so much, with its second round of Season 84 men's basketball. Now, in line with this, my partner, Diego Dario, returns to present the next part of his thesis defense.
It's back. I love
It's
it.
back. I love it. We all love it. We don't know kung kailan siya graduate, pero nandun lang. All right. So, Jegs,
Pao, I think I graduated already. Now I'm working on a different course
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. I'm with a fine arts college right now.
he has
for my
props
thesis.
ready. The last time someone had props here, Jet Manuel embarrassed
Of
himself.
course. I mean, he's my team captain, so I'm just
So
gonna be
you're
a good
following his
follower.
lead.
Yep.
Okay. So, get us started here, Jegs. So,
All right. For my first take, of course, for the thesis defense, we always give hot takes.
Okay,
right?
yes.
For my first take, I think that Ateneo will not sweep
Oh.
the season.
Oh, okay.
But they will still end up on top. So what I'm gonna do right here is draw a
Okay.
right here. Pao.
Yeah, so he's drawing it right now.
Yeah, I'm drawing a broom.
You're drawing a broom.
A blue broom. I'm not sure if it's gonna be seen
Oo.
right here.
Try, zoom in natin dito sa cam 1.
Right
sa cam
here.
1
So
tayo.
you can
Ayan,
see
it's a
blue
broom
broom.
po yan. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it
I
looks
mean-
like a comb.
Right.
No?
It's a blue broom, guys.
Okay.
Just because, you know, Ateneo is the most capable team of sweeping the UAAP. But I don't think it's gonna happen, even though they have a stacked lineup in Ange Kwame, SJ Balanghel,
Yeah.
Tyler Tio, and Ildefonsos. I think, you know, because they've been playing inconsistent at times,
Yeah.
you know, especially when Coach Tab tries to experiment with some lineups, they will give up some huge leads, especially in that first round.
Okay, so again, we've seen that they are human. We've seen UE kind of worry them. We've seen NU kind of worry them. We saw LaSalle beat them for 2.5 quarters and lose the entire game because of a poor third quarter. So I might see your point. Just might. But syempre, I'm LaSalle, so I'm very biased.
Okay.
But let's go on to the second one here.
Well, we'll get
He-
to the
he
we'll
drew
get to your
something.
we'll get to your take, Pao.
Okay.
On and LaSalle, but on my second team, you got it right here. This is Zave Lucero right here holding the broom because I think UP is the most capable team to defeat Ateneo with their lineup, with the way they play offense and defense. You can take a look at it right here. That's Zave Lucero with, you know, the Oblation logo also.
Okay.
That's the art. That's
Lagyan mo
part
yung
of
number
it,
niya
Pao.
sa gitna.
Right, so I
yung
think-
number ni Zave sa gitna.
What's his number? 22? I think 22.
Yeah, I think so.
Or let's just put UP right
Okay,
here.
UP.
All right, so
Alright.
UP will not allow Ateneo to have that sweep because they're playing excellent, especially in the latter part of that first round.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, our third point. Our
For the third point, Pao, we're
Okay.
talking about your team right here.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna draw right here some arrows. You know, just because, you know, they're
I
the
don't
green
like how this is going
they're,
already.
they're the green archers, Pao. They're the green archers. So,
Okay.
but this right here, as you can see, is a 3 arrows that are missing. You know, they missed the UP, misfiring arrows basically.
Okay.
Because LaSalle, I think they will lose to some upsets here in the
Okay.
in the second round, just because, you know, they have excellent defense, but their offense not really the best with their talent. With Nonoy there, Nelly there, and all the other Phil-American students that they have.
So underachieving
Yeah.
yung LaSalle in your mind, and you feel that they could lose to a couple of upsets, of course. Pero, you know, we're gonna go through these points in just a bit. But let's finish this out. You have one more drawing to make.
I have one more drawing to
Okay.
make. And this is also probably my final 4 at the end of the second round.
Okay.
All right, so right here, I'm gonna draw I think I'll pass this, but, you know.
I don't know about that.
All right.
I don't know if you're nervous or not. That's
I'm just
actually
making
not
it
bad.
fast, right? I'm making it fast right here. But right here, you can see it will be a dogfight for the 4th seed. And that's why the Bulldogs will clinch that 4th spot. We know that FEU is going to be there.
Yeah.
Adamson's going to be there to fight for that 4th spot. But you can take a look at it right here. Beautiful artwork. This is a bulldog right here, guys. So, and also, in fine arts, Pao, there's going to be different levels, right? Number 1 on top is going to be the Blue Eagles.
Okay.
Number 2, so there's levels to this, Pao.
Yes,
UP
there are levels.
at 2nd, 3rd, and for LaSalle, and 4th for NU. And the colors too, you have to take a look at it. Blue for Ateneo, maroon for UP, green for the Archers, and then blue also for the Bulldogs. So I think this is a good artwork right here, Pao. What can you say about it?
I don't know what to make of this analysis. Pero
I mean-
I get you.
It's a thesis defense, right? I mean, NU, they're playing so well. They're dogs, really.
No, I agree. Now, I'm gonna go through it just a bit. And of course, when we have, okay, saan tayo dito? All right, when you have Ateneo with their broom that will be broken by UP, supposedly.
So that's Zave holding
Oh,
it.
that's Zave sir, holding. So Zave, if you're watching, we're gonna send this to you pa frame na lang, please, okay? So, si Ateneo, why do you think they won't sweep? Because that's all everyone's assuming that they probably will.
Yeah.
But you talk about their inconsistencies. What inconsistencies?
Well, they did it already. They swept the UAP already. But I think, this is the perfect time for UP to do it. Just because, 30's out, the Nieto brothers are out, the OG like Ateneo Blue Eagles are there. This Ateneo team, they're still strong. Don't don't make a mistake about it. But Ateneo still, they're young.
Yeah.
They're basically young. They have Dave Ildefonso, who's a new player. SJ is still there, but I think he's still young as a player. But, with their inconsistencies from time to time, I think it's going to be the season that they won't sweep.
You also picked out NU over FEU. I mean, I think for LaSalle, I'm going to let that pass for the moment because I think the record speaks for themselves.
Yeah.
So far, and I think that is relatively reasonable until proven wrong. But NU over FEU is more contentious. So what do you think are the edges of this NU Bulldogs team over an FEU who is still in the hunt?
Well, make no mistake about it. FEU is a talented team. Their guards in RJ Abarientos, LJ Gonzalez, Cyrus Torres, and Alforques there to really put a lot of points on the scoreboard. But in the first round, they weren't able to close out games too much, many games. And I think they're gonna have a lot of close games here in the second round. But I think the Bulldogs, they're well coached. They fight in every possession. Defensively, they put a lot of pressure, and offensively, they execute well with not a lot of stars in them. Every time they win, they have spread out scores. From the first guy to the 10th guy.
So, Jegs, you have 4 takes right here, and let's be fair. You're not a prophet, so maybe one of them might be wrong.
Yeah.
But if you were to look at all of these 4, which one will you guarantee will happen?
I think the safest bet is probably LaSalle.
I know, but you're not safe here.
I think I'll go for it. UP, I think, will beat Ateneo.
You think UP will beat Ateneo?
I think
No
UP will
bias
beat
there.
Ateneo. And that's gonna be the last game, probably the last game of the season of the second round.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
In the last game day, they will be playing, and it's gonna be a fun battle of Katipunan.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here is the thesis submission of pang fine arts.
I hope I get an
ni-
uno
ni
with this,
Jeco Dario. So, Jegs, sign mo muna. And then we're
you
going
gotta
to,
sign it, and
you
then
gotta sign
you
it.
gotta extra.
You gotta
it,
sign
right?
it.
So
All
I'm
right.
signing
So
my
Jeco
artwork.
Dario
There you
signing that up. All right, Jegs, take it away.
All right, that was my thesis defense. But when we return, it's time to dish out some NBA playoff predictions. It's Paulo Del Rosario's turn to be in the hot seat. So stay tuned for that. You're watching The Game. playoffs is firing up as the best of the best start to rack up some wins. Tonight, we challenged our resident ultimate Jazz fan to create his playoff pick'em bracket. Pao, thank you for taking on a very huge task tonight for, your bracket for the playoffs. And I think we're gonna have two editions right here, two versions. Of course, you are a Jazz fan, Pao.
So I have one that syempre
which won't happen. That's why it's a dream.
Yung dream ko. So labas muna natin yung dream ko, yung dream bracket ko. Kasi syempre sa dream bracket ko, yung mananalo doon, yung Utah Jazz. Okay? Pero remember, dream bracket lang to for a reason. That is because my Jazz have not been doing great recently. We barely beat a Luka Doncic-less Dallas Mavericks.
But they still got the win.
They still got the win. Yung importante, of course. But then when you run into Phoenix, I have questions. I have big questions
at the upper left,
there.
guys. Take a look at the upper left. Utah against Phoenix. He has Utah beating the Phoenix Suns, the number 1 team in the league.
Yeah.
Pao,
You know what? Being number 1 seed, I would know. Does not matter. So, again, ito yung dream ko. But, interestingly enough, I can also be measured and unbiased.
Okay.
Oo, kaya ko yan. Unfortunately, it makes me sad. But, here it is. So, we're gonna bring out yung real bracket ko. Again,
so, this is the analysis part of it.
Ito yung
No
analysis.
bias, no Jazz
bias.
fan connected in
Yeah,
here. Okay.
none at all. So, ito, when you have the real bracket up, you're gonna see, I have the Milwaukee Bucks coming up as champions. The Phoenix Suns, unfortunately, beating my Jazz. And of course, it would be a repeat for Giannis. And basically, I think there are toss-ups there that we can debate and we can talk about.
I mean, I can see Denver beating the Golden State Warriors. I don't think a lot of fans will agree with that.
No.
Why do you think Denver's going to beat the Golden State?
Well, first of all, I made that bracket. Funnily enough, I made this bracket before the first games were played. So I assumed that Steph Curry was not going to play at first, or he wouldn't be as healthy. But then he turned up the heat in the first game, so I'm going to look really dumb for making that pick. But I think that series is interesting, simply because whoever comes out of that series, I believe, will, in the Western Conference at least, will have the best player left in the West. So you're going to have Nikola Jokic towering over everyone. You're going to have the best player on the floor. Steph Curry is going to be the best player on the floor, no matter who they play for the rest of the conference. And that could potentially be a difference maker for that team. Pero syempre, I had other notes also that don't involve my Jazz.
I mean, if Luka Doncic is one of the best players also in the West, but in your bracket probably. Did the Jazz advance in that bracket, in the realistic bracket?
Yes, they did advance there. Only because Luka Doncic has the calf strain.
Yeah.
And if the calf strain is bad, we've seen it. We've even seen it locally.
Yeah.
Like Japet Aguilar missed a couple of games and for extended period because of a calf strain. What more someone like Luka, who will probably have a lot to think about for the years to come, especially with contracts, especially with what Dallas has to do.
And that's going to be tough also for Luka. But when you look at the east side of your of your bracket, you have the Bucks coming in as the finalists for the East. You don't think the Bucks will face the Nets?
You know, the funny thing is, I look at the Nets right now, and I think that matchup against Boston's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, the matchup against Boston is interesting because they have, arguably, the Nets have the top 2 players in that series. When you have Kyrie and when you have KD. The problem is that you're not sure if Kyrie's even number 2 there when you have guys like Jason Tatum doing well. So I have doubts. In other words, this Boston team has put doubts in this Nets team in my head. So I think that if it's either the Bucks or the Celtics or the Nets who face the Bucks, I have more faith in the Bucks in beating either of those two
Well,
teams.
I agree. You know, if I were to make a bracket, it's going to be the Bucks and the Suns also for me as the finalists. But who will win that finals? You know, you have a great matchup, a rematch. You know, with Drew Holiday still there, Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo against, I think a healthy Chris Paul and Devin Booker with Ayton there as well.
You know, I think the emotional pick would be the Suns, and I think that's a good pick. I would not argue anyone who would pick that. I actually had the series going to 7, but I have the Bucks edging that one out because I just believe that Giannis is going to be the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
He's going to take control. This Bucks team can defend. This Bucks team has done it in the past. We know that Budenholzer, for all of the people say that he doesn't adjust quick enough. Sometimes he doesn't need to because he gets it right the first time. So right now, for the Suns, if you're a Suns fan, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong and the Phoenix wins. But I still think that the benefit of the doubt should go to the Bucks. Kasi sila nga yung defending champions. And they have done a lot to prove to everyone that they're approaching this playoff smarter and not working harder. You can see that with how they place themselves in this playoff picture, going at third and basically picking their matchups and avoiding those who want to avoid earlier on.
Yeah, and we're slowly seeing a bit of a rivalry here between the Suns and the Bucks.
I'm here for it.
As an NBA fan, I wouldn't be sad about it because we had no problem with the Cavs and the Warriors going at it for multiple years.
Yeah.
And I think it's the time for Suns and the Bucks, the top two teams in the NBA, to really go at it in the years to come. But with this Suns team, I think I have the Suns right here. Just because, that emotional, I think they want revenge against the Milwaukee Bucks.
I also think, Jegs, to be completely fair to all of the NBA-loving fans out there, we all kind of want Chris Paul to win one.
Of course.
I think we all want Chris Paul to win
that
one.
ring, right?
Yeah, because honestly, that is the glaring gap in his career. We all call him the point guard for a reason, and we all want him to get it. Pero syempre, it's gonna be tough when you have Giannis and the Bucks just barreling down from the East and trying to slap it out of his hands again and getting it. But that's my pick. You never know what happens in the future. And you never know, baka yung dream bracket ko yung maging totoo.
I mean, we'll never know, Pao. Sometimes dreams come true.
Oh,
right?
dreams come
true.
true.
Giannis said that, dreams come true, especially if you work hard. So will Donovan and Rudy Gobert finally work hard for that
I
win?
just want them to be friends first.
All right. All right. That was a fun bracket, Pao. And thank you so much. And thank you guys for joining us. I'm Diego Dario.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paolo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.